In this video, I'm going to share one stock which I think is likely to break out, but I'm not sure a lot of folks are paying attention to it. The stock is Huntsman, and through this video, I'll share why I like Huntsman, along with a way to actually automate your entry into this particular trade setup. I'm going to cancel all of my orders for right now so we can recreate them together from scratch. First thing that stands out to me, which I think stands out to everyone, are those red lines on my chart. That's the Fibonacci symmetry, and that's telling us that if we were to use our three major previous swings and compare them to our current swing, it's looking pretty dang similar. We get this range of $20 to $16, and currently Huntsman is right inside of that range. And on the weekly time frame with this recent week, we've seen our first oversold confirmation signal. So that's a green check mark that I think, yes, Huntsman on the weekly time frame oversold, likely to make a move at least to the market pulse line, which is 1874. But really, if we zoom out, this Fibonacci symmetry is telling us that we're looking for a much bigger move here. Now we zoom into the daily time frame chart. On the daily time frame, most recently our market pulse, which is our substitute for moving averages, transitioned from this market stage of deceleration, which you can see with the red line, to a green line, which is a market stage of acceleration. That too is yet another bullish catalyst telling us we're now looking for momentum to also take over control. Before earnings, we had our 1-2 punch setup, which was another sign of the bulls taking over control as well. So at this point, we have three different signals. The weekly time frame with its oversold signal, the daily time frame with its pre-earnings optimism, and the daily time frame with its post-earnings continued optimism. Now the question is, well, do the actual fundamentals support this overall narrative, this story? For that, you can dive deeper into the actual earnings report, but I have this one simple sentence from the CEO from the earnings report, which I think summarizes the bullish thesis here. Their goal, or Huntsman's goal rather, for 2025 is to A, minimize their cost structure. They're doing this by shutting down some of their less productive assets, especially in Europe. They're doing this to now optimize their existing asset footprint so that their existing assets are productive assets, and use all of this to improve their margins. So if you extrapolate where Huntsman currently is, a beaten down stock for the past, 1, 2, 3 years, I could see this being that shift, which is our catalyst into this new narrative where the valuation starts to catch up. So that's my bullish thesis inside of Huntsman. I think this was a good earnings report, and I'm excited to see if they can actually deliver on this promise that the CEO has shared in the earnings report. Now the question is forming the trade. I don't want to get it all in one go. I also don't want to sit here, wait and watch for any sort of pullbacks. This is a low price stock. I just want to be able to put this trade on and let my capital work and let thinkorswim do a lot of the heavy lifting for me. Now the first entry I'd like is if we get a pullback to this market pulse on the daily time frame. I would like to place multiple orders, not just one and done, and this is going to be the first one that I place. So let me take you through the process of that. I'm going to come into our website, and I'm going to go to where we have all of our automated trading scripts up here at the top. Now, since I'm looking for a pullback to the market pulse line, I'll use example number 2, which is exactly the code I want. I'm looking for the bullish code, so I'll click copy, come inside of thinkorswim, right click, select buy, and I'm going to edit this order here. I'll change the quantity to 20. I'll try and build up to a position of 50 shares here. And then I'm going to click the settings icon to edit this in a little bit more detail. Scale this to whatever your total shares are. In this video, I'm using 50 as that total amount here. So symbol, which will autofill to Huntsman, study, where I can click edit, ThinkScript editor, and paste in the code I just copied. Change our trigger condition to be true or false. And this is on the daily time frame, so I'll leave this as is on the daily time frame selected. Link our buy to the bid since I'm looking to join the bid, but I want a slightly better entry, let's say better than 10 cents, 20 shares, and this is going to be a GTC order. I think that's all we need for our first order. I can click save, confirm and send. We now have our first order working where thinkorswim will automatically enter whenever we get a pullback to the market pulse, whether that's on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, or we have to wait around for some chop. You no longer have to sit here and wait for this condition to happen. That was the first order. Now the second order of 20 shares, I'd like to get in where I think most people are likely to have their stop, which I think is going to be below this candle's wick. Now this candle's low is at 1567, so I think you could use either 1550 or just use our Fibonacci level at 1528. Now this particular one doesn't require any coding, simply just right click at whatever the level is, and you can click buy and edit the entire order just in this panel right here. So I can say 1528, this is going to be a GTC order, and then click confirm and send. This is a static price. I don't need to link it to anything else. So now I have 20 and 20 shares. The first 20 is a little bit more dynamic. The second 20 is static if we just were to touch 1528. Now the final 10 shares that I want to have enter whenever we see momentum actually switch, but this time on that weekly time frame chart. A little bit more weight with the weekly time to our automated trading scripts here. And this time I'm going to use example 1, which is simply looking for our momentum cross. This is momentum to switch, but this time on the weekly time frame, I'll right click and then open up the settings icon here, adjust the quantity. This is the final 10 shares, and we can come into symbol, which will autofill to Huntsman, edit the quantity or edit the script first, and here I'm going to select this to be true. And this is on the weekly time frame now, if we see that momentum cross. And I'll link this to our bid price. And since this is a momentum-based entry, I'm going to try and get a little bit greedier with my entry. This to a GTC order, confirm and send. And now I have all 50 shares where thinkorswim is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me. Let me summarize what we did in this video since we went through a lot. We started first with just looking at some simple Fibonacci symmetry. We compared 3 of our major swings inside of Huntsman, and we projected where those swings are likely to exhaust. Price is currently inside of those zones, and we saw on the weekly time frame, we saw our oversold signal. On the daily time frame, we saw the market pulse switch, and we even had momentum starting to kick in. With all of that, we layered on our earnings analysis here. You can dive a little bit deeper, but I shared what I think the CEO's plan is, which makes a lot of sense to me, and why I think the future is a lot better for Huntsman than what the past has been, and where I think it can go. For all Volatility Box members, be sure to check out the automated trading scripts, and you can also watch each of these videos to learn how to build your own automated trading scripts for any conditions you may have. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in our next update.